be honest, part of the reason I asked Carolyn to read that, and I didn't tell her this, was that that's a really hard passage to read. And I didn't know if I could. So thank you. And thanks to Pat for taking this Sunday with what is the hardest passages in the whole Bible off. Thanks. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a good vacation. I don't know about you, but I hear that story, and it makes me angry. In fact, one of the commentaries I read said it's one of the scriptures that they call an atheist maker, and it makes people turn away. And I said, no, it's more than that. There's faith. This story it can be so much more. So I've spent a long time, I've spent the last month kind of waist deep in this, and I hope I can bring you a little bit out of it today. And then Kim and I are going to be singing a piece based on this story. I get why the psalmist raged when Kim read earlier. How long must I wrestle with my thoughts, and day after day have sorrow in my heart? Then I think about Abraham, father. How must he have felt? Tested. And Isaac. Oh, Isaac, whose faith not only in God was tested, but his faith in his father Abraham as well. There's an old Yiddish folk saying that goes something like this. Why did God not send a messenger angel to tell Abraham to sacrifice Isaac? And the answer is because no angel was willing to do it. They all told God, God, if you want to command death, you know what? Do it yourself. I appreciate that our Hebrew forebears and our Jewish brothers and sisters can approach even the most difficult challenge with some levity, leaving some room for frustration. We don't get much in the way of emotions going through Abraham and Isaac in the Genesis story as it is written. I think it's only natural that because of this, we allow our own thoughts and our own feelings to creep in. The story's events, however, are so dramatic that it has inspired much great art through the centuries, as we have tried to contend with such a story. The piece that Kim and I are going to sing in a moment is just one such attempt. The text of the piece comes from a 15th century play, which is some 100 or more years or so before Shakespeare, before the King James translation of the Bible. And the Middle English is going to be, it's odd for the modern reader, modern listener. I've tried to help you. In your bulletin, you're going to see in some parentheses, some places where the word is completely different from what we would expect. So I invite you to follow along. If you get lost, that's okay too. The music itself does so much to add and tell the drama that I invite you to still continue. The music, which is written by Benjamin Britten, has that kind of power that music can have to tell a story. Begins with God, and then Abraham comes in. I'm going to be singing the part of Abraham. And Abraham begins confident in his faith. Does Abraham know that this is a test? And I've read some that said it's a test, as in this is a test, this is only a test. Or does he think this is what God intends him to do? I don't know. I don't think that Abraham knew either. Next comes a duet between Abraham and Isaac. Isaac's going to be sung by Kim. And it's going to be accompanied by our wonderful pianist, Margie Heath. And she's going to be playing in a completely different meter. So Abraham tells Isaac to go gather the wood and go with him. And Isaac responds dutifully, as a son would. But the piano, being so off from the voices, gives you an impression that this is not a comfortable trip. Isaac follows his father on the quest, and musically it gets faster as the stress of what Abraham has been asked to do compounds. Eventually, Abraham admits that Isaac is the intended sacrifice, and it's scored like a climax of a Broadway musical. The play continues from there, moving through anger, fear, and faith. The third main character besides Abraham and Isaac is, of course, God. God is represented by two voices, male and female, young and old, big and small, singing together homophonically, which means it has a unified rhythm. The end of the piece adds a duet, much like a Greek chorus, praising God and asking that we would all be as obedient as Abraham. It seems to me that even Britten was unsure of how to handle this story. On one hand, when he's composing, he ends with the chorus praising Abraham. On the other, Britten, who was himself a victim of childhood abuse, gives a voice to Isaac, who demonstrates both fear and faith. How old do you picture Isaac when you hear the story that Carolyn read? We don't know. Many assume he's a young teen, almost a man. Certainly he's strong enough to carry a load of wood up the mountain, whereas his aging father probably could not. At the same time, Leonard Cohen sings a version of this story where the child is struggling to keep up with his father walking up the mountain, as one generation is sacrificed by another. As you listen, ask yourself, is there a particular character you find yourself relating to, impressed by, angry with? The story brings out intense emotion, and even more so when sung. I still don't know why this is a story we tell, or why this is a story the ancient Israelites thought was important enough to include when speaking about their creation. On the surface, it is indeed a story of great faith. The writer of the book of Hebrews agreed, citing Abraham as an example of faith. As we dig, there are themes of family, frustration with God, and even child sacrifice, which I have to add is thankfully clearly written against in Leviticus, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, despite it being a practice in the region at the time. Perhaps as you hear the story again, you'll find some meanings of your own. Just as Psalm 13 journeys from, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts?" But then concludes with, "I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me." The story of Genesis takes us on a journey as well. This is Benjamin Britten's Canticle number 2, Abraham and Isaac.
Bring My child, thou art so sweet, thou must be bound both hands and feet.
So, where do we go from here? The best place I know, when you're feeling faithful, frustrated, happy, conflicted, joyful, or angry. When life is easy like a Sunday morning or hard like trying to bail out the ocean with a spoon, we come here to our table and share our joys, our tears, and our challenges with God and with each other. Later, as we take communion, I will again be singing the words that Abraham and so many others have said. Lord, here am I. If you know the hymn and want to join in, please feel free to do so. But first, I'm going to invite Raymond to come back up here again and lead us in singing hymn 366, Let Us Break Bread Together on Our Knees. If during that time there is a special prayer that you need to share with Pastor John, he'll be waiting down front. Or if perhaps you feel called to join our fellowship here at Chamberlain, and we can struggle and celebrate with you, John will happily receive you then as well. Let us break bread together and sing.